the city, so we're planning for other things for that. So I'm in the middle of so much stuff. It's all good though. Oh, what's up? Now we are back. We are live with Brandy Price, mayoral candidate for Tennessee. We actually just finished asking her about in the last stream. We got her phone ran on batteries, but we had just finished asking about UBI, and she had actually talked about her plans for. Or we talked about the disabilities community. We talked about her plans to readjust minimum wage, which I thought was very cool. Definitely check out part one of this series. Now we're on to the next question, and notice that all these questions are the same between all these candidates. If you want to see how other candidates answer these questions, then it might be, a way for candidates to really, see how other people address these issues. But we take a look at the trans community. That's another community that I work with, and the thing is that we know that they face a lot of discrimination in the workplace. They face a lot of discrimination in housing. So this is a hypothetical question. Let's say that 10% of people who are applying for public housing or other government services are trans. And then we see that only 2% of the people getting those services are trans. So we see there's this disparity and we say, what's going on? We ask the community the trans community, why they feel like they're being not really, why there's disparity. And they say they're getting discriminated against. Maybe they're getting beat up, stuff like that. So there's no real particular law that says you can discriminate against trans people, but they're still facing this issue. How can you help these people get fair access to government services?
Well, for one, in Memphis, we don't really have a housing program. We have a voucher system through Section 8. Me personally, I would start there, bringing public housing back to the public hands instead of taking out of privatization. You have to write it into your code of, have to write into the code of what you're doing, of your programs. You have to give people a way, an avenue to report any form of abuse or any form of discrimination. Um, Legally, from my understanding, government officials are not allowed to do so, but private businesses can. Like I don't know what they do in up New York, how they stop prevention of of trans people being discriminated up there. But like I said, you have to give them avenues to report any form of discrimination. But privatization through Section 8 kind of takes those things away. And I believe they just decided in the Supreme Court that businesses can discriminate based on sex or due to their religious beliefs and such. It says protect on their First Amendment right. But yeah, so basically, I
Okay,
would
I
bring
can
back.
I can provide a little bit of illumination on some of these ideas. So the thing is that when we look at the Medicaid community, right? Yeah, and how those services are rolled out, there will be on the questionnaire, right? Like, are you right? They ask you to check off your racial background, and then they use
Right.
that data to see if there's some kind of disparity as in terms of servicing racially. So they
Right.
can track it, right? Yeah, they can say, you know what, like
Right.
this group is not getting the same amount of services. Now, if those, but they're not really tracking this for the lesbian, gay, trans community. But there's also nervousness, right? If people check off trans, they're worried they're going to get discriminated against. So I could see them trying to not really, self-reporting. Also, there's people who may claim trans who are not really trans in order to get access to the benefits. So there's like
Mhm.
all right, and then the thing is that sometimes, you know, within housing, sometimes people pass things on to their kids, right? People be living in these houses for generations, and we don't want to displace them. But the people got in on right. The people got in because they were originally trans, and then their children are not trans. So what do we do? Do we want to just kick them out? That seems problematic as well. Um,
Mhm.
Also, the question also includes the idea of quotas, right? Most honestly, candidates, it's very rare for me to see anybody's. I don't think I've even had one yet that said, I believe in a quota system, 10%, 2%, right? Let's do that. Let's use these numbers to force, right, our objectives. But, it does ask that question of how you use the numbers or the data, right, to really, you know, create the solution. Or, what's your take on that whole? It's a complicated question.
Well, when it comes to staying in public housing for generations, like I said, we don't have it here in Memphis at all. Essentially, I think that also presents an opportunity how we can direct it. Um, I don't know how things are in New York, But if you, public housing, one, it should belong to the whole community as large at large. And it also should be it should give people avenues to purchasing their own home, just give them a space to lay their head. If somebody's homeless, then we should have housing, job programs, anything like that, to give people access to labor so they can build wealth up for themselves. So that if they want to leave, they can leave. Essentially, I don't really believe in time limits as well, though. But I believe that essentially we want everyone to become eventual owners of their own property or their own space. So, if that is through public housing, we have the technology, and we should have the funds available to make more. Yeah, that's how I feel. I don't. I believe that public housing should be integrated into the community seamlessly. So some people shouldn't be so cornered off or sectioned off. And it wouldn't be any difference from having regular housing, in my opinion. Like, have you ever been to
Appreciate
Memphis?
that. Yeah.
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 Huh?
So,
You
actually,
have?
just to move it out from housing, because I know, like, we're trying to dip into the public housing thing. I know that public housing is being eliminated across the United States. So let me just switch
Hmm.
the question from like from public housing to like maybe a homeless shelter, right? Just making sure that
Right.
trans people can get fair access, right? Because some trans people, right, like being a homeless person myself, I saw how trans people were, and I was like, damn, they really living that real life. I'm effed up right
Right.
now. They real effed up right now. You know what I mean? So I seen that.
Oh yeah.
Um, once, yeah. So once
Like in
again, right? Yeah,
Memphis, in,
yeah,
in Memphis, if you have a child that a black a child, or a child that's a son, he's of the age of 8, you can't get shelter. You can't get shelter. In Memphis, you have the homeless
you
people.
can
The homeless
you cannot get
have
shelter if
to
you have a
pay.
child.
Yeah, you can't get shelter if you have a child that
Here it's
a
the
son.
opposite.
If you
Here's the opposite. You get prioritized if you have a
No, you,
child.
you can't have that. No, you can't have that because like all the shelters are privately owned by churches, and also you have to pay $7 a day to lay your head. But also, it's illegal to panhandle in the city.
Well, it depends on how they enforce it, right? Yeah, there's the laws as written, and there's the laws as people on the streets live it. You know what I mean? We know that there's what they write on the books is not always
But
what really happens, right?
yeah,
But
they no, they these people. They can't set up any type of tents or nothing without being threatened with arrest by the sheriff department and MPD. Go downtown, they are threatened by one of my mayoral candidates, private police, the Blue Suede Brigade. Paul Young, he's the head of the downtown commission, and they have a brigade simply to harass homeless people. It's basically like a genocide against poor people here in Memphis, Tennessee. But yeah, you can't get housing, you can't get shelter here. There's a lot of families that live in their cars. And only way you can get shelter at the Union Mission, if you pay $7, and you also have to attend I believe, 5-hour church ceremony to get fed. You got to attend
yeah,
a ceremony. So they're literally torturing people here. It is literal. I know I shouldn't use literal so loosely, but it is essentially hell on earth in the city of Memphis for the homeless population.
I want to
It's
just
essentially hell on earth.
I just want to quote the words of my man Nolan Farrell, who's actually was wrongfully incarcerated for 10 years. He said, "If you don't
Mhm.
know your rights, you don't have any rights." And that's how he was wrongfully
Right.
incarcerated because there was no evidence against him. The evidence used against him was faulty, but he didn't know he had the rights, and he went down. So the fact of the matter is, if there's a private investigator
Mm.
who's going through the trash, right? Yeah, and he says to the cops, "I have a legal right. Once it goes in the trash, it's public property, right? Yeah, I can inspect that, right?" Then the cop's not going to give them a hard time. But if you're a homeless person dumpster diving and
Mhm.
they give you a hard time, you know what I mean? Just say you're a private investigator and you're allowed to go through the trash, and they might still mess with you, but we know the laws are selectively enforced against some groups and not against other groups. So
Mhm.
eh. I would, but I like your answer
So
so much.
yes.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I know you have a lot of perspective that a lot of other candidates don't. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that so
Hmm.
much. Another another group that I work with is Right to Repair.
Sure thing.
Would you would you be willing to support Right to Repair?
Right to repair. That's to right to prepare your own housing. What exactly is right to prepare?
Okay.
I remember you said it last time, but I have a hard time keeping up.
Okay.
Not keeping
So the
up,
thing
but
is,
just remembering.
okay, so the thing is that right now, um, if you have your like if you have a car, a Honda, you have a a Toyota, you have a Ford, you have Volkswagen, whatever you got, you can take it to a shop and get your oil fixed. You can get your oil changed, right? Any shop, right? Midas, right? Yeah, any shop, right? But the thing is that now we know like a lot
Mhm.
of electronic devices, right? Sometimes even some of the car companies, what they'll do is you have to go specifically to their service agency. I guess one of the worst violators is Apple, right? The thing is that instead of
Ooh,
allowing people to fix their devices, they want people to buy a new device. So that they artificially inflate the
oh
cost of
yes.
repairs to be the same as actually buying the device. And then they will actually like now they're even making devices. So like here's a phone right here, and the thing is, this screen right here, what they'll do is they'll put in a digital key on
Mhm.
that screen. So if my screen cracks, I cannot actually even take a working screen from another phone and put it onto this phone. It just won't work because they want to force you to buy new devices. This has been so problematic
Yeah,
that even Biden had to force the military contractors
yeah, and that's
to
horrible.
allow, yeah, yeah. So,
Oh
and
wow,
also, that's why
they even
McDonald's
got
can't
Biden
buy.
on it.
They getting everybody. They are willing to victimize anybody for the dollar. You know what I mean? And they thought the government tax money is free money,
Oh
and
wow,
the military couldn't even fix their own tanks and stuff because the companies who made the tanks said, you know what, you have to do exclusive contracts to service them through us, and they were charging the government. And we know the government is filled with corruption, but they were so excessive with it, right? Yeah, in the military that they were just like, we need to chill out with this because y'all are just going too far. Damn, if the military saying that, yo, like it's got to be bad. You know what I mean? Like that's way over. So it's just like to all
right.
aspects of our lives.
Ooh,
Yeah.
wow. I I I would definitely support that, especially after you know that our devices are made from lithium and where they get that source their lithium from. I said this in one of my debates that we need to find something different. We need to do something different. Like I hate that point. I hate that our phones are not. We can't self-modify our phones. You know, we don't have access to the ability to do that. It's kind of seem wrong on a fundamental level, and two, also very wasteful. But also, we get that lithium from mines that are they use child labor. And you go to Africa, you go to Afghanistan, or they use child labor, and that's wrong. This is a problem that we're going to especially face when Blue Oval City gets constructed here. Well, in our neighbor city in Mason, Tennessee. I don't know if you heard about what happened in Mason. It was a black-owned city, but essentially, they forced them to lose their charter, so they couldn't have any form of fashion of negotiating a deal for themselves for the Ford factory, Blue Oval City. They're basically making a car city where they're going to try to ship workers from Memphis to said city to work for a Ford factory to make electronic cars. Part of my public policy is a threat to this because I'm trying to fund a system of public transportation that would require lithium,
Okay.
like public transit, like literally, public transit. Like I feel like that's a pathway forward. We need to start, even though people say it's a boondoggle. We need to start a form fashion of getting our own metro system here in Memphis. We have so much empty space and available land that it makes no sense that we don't have
I'm sorry. I
this
just
because
want.
like our current
Yeah.
system is inefficient.
If I could just put you on hold for a second.
But yeah.
I don't know if your phone's in your hand or something like that. It sounds like maybe like it's possibly like maybe like the wire is jiggling around, or I keep hearing this little click click
Oh
click.
yeah, I'm
That's
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
You don't need to speak right
Yeah,
into the
that's
microphone.
me.
It's fine. Wait,
Yeah, that's
now it's
me
too loud.
jiggling
Now it's
around. That's
it's too loud. Now it's too loud.
um,
Yeah, now it's real loud. But the thing is that I keep hearing this chick chick, and it does. I don't see it touching
oh
anything,
my
but
bad.
something is going on. Yeah, like it might be clicking
Yeah,
against the
that's
phone
me.
or something. But yeah,
That's me.
it's really impacting the quality of
Yeah, that's
the
me. My
audio here.
bad. Do you need me to start over?
Like I
Well, I'm
just
just say this again.
it's not. It's bothersome. I mean, it's if it goes through the whole thing, people are not going to listen to it. That's my opinion. Yeah, but we'll see. You
All right.
know, actually, no, I'll tell you what. Why don't you watch
Well,
it afterwards
let
and
me.
decide? You let me know if you want to redo it, and I'll redo it. But let's just try to work with it for now. But I just wanted to kind of like be better. I don't want to have that click and keep going on.
I understand. I understand. Let me just say this. One, we use a lot of lithium to make these phones, and this uh you know planned obsolescence is this cruel and unusual. We waste a lot. We have to dispose of it, and that's also created an environmental hazard. Uh, you know, and we source that lithium from mines in Africa, Afghanistan, all of which use child labor. I want this to be
Okay.
clear. I want that to be clear. Uh, and my opponents, they support Blue Oval City, which took the right of a city charter, and to actually build their city, despite the residents there what they wanted or what we wanted here in Memphis.
Okay.
Essentially, yeah, essentially, and that requires a lot of lithium. They basically slowly but surely turning Memphis into a colony city where we have to work for them, where
Yeah.
we have to ship our labor across that city in Mason, Tennessee. Please look it up. Like this is very important. But that's unacceptable. We have so much land and capabilities to build a metro system, anything, or just simply improving our public system, improving our public transit system as it is today. That'd be a simple first steps. Like we need that done immediately because like not only it prevent us from relying on a Ford factory, and it'll improve city commerce. It will also like the public transportation is key to combating the climate crisis. That's what's going on here. So
Appreciate
I'm
that.
gonna take
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
bonnet off because
Okay.
it's serious.
Uh, okay. Just that's definitely true. There's a lot of urban planning that goes on where they try to put poor people into certain areas that are around industry and things like that. This is definitely concerning. Also, just so you know, the fact that Tennessee is such a large transportation hub, the fact of the matter is that I used to have a retail store, and a lot of people think that by having a distributor account that you're going to get things cheaper from the manufacturer than the distributor. But I'm sorry to tell you that that's not actually the case. I was actually always able to get things cheaper from the distributor than the manufacturer. I know it sounds weird, but the manufacturer is located right by the hub, by the transportation hubs. They have the big warehouses. They have everything ready to set up. So if you take a look
Hmm.
at Tennessee's, the fact that by the hub, they're going to want to do also with China closing off a lot of the manufacturing. We're going to see around Tennessee that if they don't can't get cheap Chinese labor, they're going to place it with slave labor from you know places around Tennessee where they already have the transportation hubs, things like that, and there's going to have that's exactly what they did. They create communities of poor of poverty, right, to protect the communities of wealth, and it's really this is really an ongoing issue in all communities. Yeah. Another group that I work with is Move to Amend, Wolfpack. I think
Right.
that they're working to try to end something called Citizens United, which said corporations are people and can have free speech and therefore unlimited,
Oh God.
contribution spending and stuff. Would you be willing to stand against Citizens United? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Good.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to
Yes.
I'm trying to
Oh
help
my
them
God.
get to
Yes. It is a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
yeah. Okay.
I'm
Now
sorry,
I want
but it
no. I
is a
appreciate
nightmare
that.
to live under that.
Yeah. I
Okay.
appreciate that. Yeah. Now the thing is that just so
Mhm.
just the way that Tennessee is probably more of a red state, I think that New York City is kind of like a blue state. So the thing is that a lot of sometimes Republicans here are really like just people that like even Bloomberg ran as as a Republican. I think he's going like he's problematic, but that they only care about those labels for the poor, right? Yeah, but when Bloomberg switches from Republican to Democrat, they don't care. You know what I mean? But the fact of the matter is that
Mhm.
you know uh, there's this group called Convention of States. I'm gonna be honest with you; they are tied. There's a lot of right wing stuff going on there, but let me just tell you what they're trying to fight for, which is they're close to something called a constitutional amendment, right? Yeah, when the constitutional amendments have like given
Mhm.
women the right to vote, things like that. They're actually more than halfway towards making that happen, and they're trying to limit federal ability to control states. They're trying to enact term limits, which is basically decentralization. Would you support something like that? Maybe you got to look more into it either
I
way. But
would
okay,
I would support it, but here in Tennessee, we're a very red dominated state. Here in
hmm
Memphis, even if you're a Democrat, you're a Republican. Like that's what it is. They just do that for race. Like some people do it for poor people and all this other that we do. They do it for race. So like it's really wild. So in order for average TNCians to not get screwed over, we would need some help. But I would like to do that. I have some libertarian friends who are more than willing to have that happen. But I have some caveats. I'm sorry, I'm patting stuff now. But I have some caveats. I would need some help. We need help here in Tennessee. That's just plain truth because like they're just one skip away from returning people back to slavery. So
one thing we're
that's
trying to do is we're going to maybe they do have some funds. We're going to try to put together some panel discussions and even debates and stuff between candidates to kind of raise your profile, raise other candidates' profile. I think I pretty much asked most of the questions for my partners now. I'm actually going to focus on some of the specifics of yourself, but this is really where we're going to get good right here. So the thing is that right now, if we take a look at your race, actually, you're a historical candidate. You've actually been on the front lines of activism right there. And actually, the one thing that politicians and their donors hate most is grassroots activists, right? Remember, what's it,
right.
Debbie Wasserman Schultz saying, we're here to destroy the grassroots. This happens in third party as well. Definitely will love out from another 100% grassroots activist. So right now, you've been going through some struggles with your own campaign. People might assume because you're a first you said I think earlier in the program there's 15 conservative candidates, only one progressive candidate yourself. They might assume that you're being well funded. They might assume that you're getting support. Tell us what's actually going on.
Nothing. I'm not getting any support.
What?
Everyone in LGBTQ are either supporting the privatization of public housing and or public schools through candidates like McKenzie and Paul Young, or they are supporting the evangelical Christian conservative Van Turner. Um,
Do they
like
give any reason
literally,
for
I
this?
no,
They
they
sometimes they say
literally
like, yeah, okay.
ultimately the person who runs Mid South Pride gave me the reason that they can't have Mayor Harrison back as mayor. He was our prior mayor,
I'm getting these
but
clicks again. Yeah, I don't know why I'm getting these clicks. It's just a
okay,
little bit.
I
It's
don't.
not your mic's hitting anything. It might be the where it's plugged in. Make sure that the phone jack's plugged, that the microphone's plugged all the way in into the phone. Is it all the way in?
It's plugged in.
Okay, I'm
Yes,
sorry. Sorry. Yeah.
is this
Okay, go
better?
on. Yeah, it's better.
But
Yeah, I don't hear the clicking anymore.
essentially they don't want Mayor Harrison in as a mayor because he made all the white people mad by saying, "Well, if y'all don't like Memphis, y'all can just get out." And a lot of them heard that. And
He said, "Wait,
somebody growing up,
if you don't like Merton, get out." What did he say? He said, "If you don't
like if
like
you don't
what, get
like
out."
how, if you don't like no, if you don't like Memphis how it is, then you can get out. Basically, he's a black capitalist. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? He's pro black capitalist, and a lot of white people didn't like that.
Oh, the
So
mayor's
they're
black.
willing to.
The
No,
mayor's black.
the former mayor. No,
Okay.
the mayor now is white. He's Jim
Okay.
Strickland, neoliberal.
Okay.
Uh, Mayor Harrington, he's authoritarian, black capitalist. Like literally, he's like presents himself this way where white people just don't like him at all. And a lot of them left the city. A lot of them just flooded and left the city, stuff like that. But growing up under him and under his administration, Memphis hadn't really changed. Nothing has changed. Like literally, these people are the same group of people. They just different spectrums of authoritarianism and privatization. So I am getting no. I raised a total of $600. I won't say that's me being generous. I raised $600 with my campaign. I got some notoriety by getting on the news and making appearances and speaking to issues that others haven't. Which, like I said, they made a mistake on letting me in because, like, once I'm in, people can't deny what I'm saying is true. They
Okay.
just can't deny it. Uh, you know, the state house has denied us the right for ranked choice voting twice. So they really, it's not a very democratic city. But a lot of people are banking on Van Turner. A lot of people are banking on who else? Paul Young or Van Turner. Either that we have hardline authoritarian Republican people or people who's into privatization. Um, like it's really wild. Floyd Bonner, he commits human rights violations on a daily basis. A lot of people are afraid of him, but like the Republican side love him. Reggie Hall, he's not afraid to say he's a Republican, even though black or not, he's like he just not very
Okay.
intelligent person. Like he
Well, okay.
literally went
So
to the Shelby County Democratic Party to say he don't listen to
okay.
women.
So look,
Like that's
we could say
different.
things
It's
about
weird.
right the other candidates, right? Not all
Sorry.
right wing's bad, but the thing is that the right wing, right? We could talk about like the list of them, but once again, you are kind of like a unique candidate, a more of a you're even a DSA co-chair. I think you told me that Nationals was
Hmm.
ready to support you if you could get the local endorsement. So, what do you think you need to get the local endorsement? Maybe they need to see more support from outside. Are they worried about the moving up to fund your campaign? Are they worried about your? They sometimes they say, "Oh, we think that this person's more electable for whatever reason." Did they give any reasons for why they're not? Because you're on the front lines. Even Justin Pearson has come out and like said, spoke about you in a positive way. You would think that they would be running to support you. What's going on?
Well, there's a faction of DSA who get paid to do political campaigns, and I think that the person that they were banking on wouldn't pay them as much, so they literally have no one else. So they, even though they agree with everything I'm saying, they still think I don't have the experience of governance. So, but everyone else in DSA, well, like I said, they have control of certain people in DSA who help control
I
the
thought that's a
process.
good. I thought it's a selling point. Isn't that like AOC? Oh, she's a bartender. Oh, it's so great. She does. She's not a politician. But all of a sudden, for you, right? It's different, right? It's cool for some
Yeah,
people, but for you, right, it's a problem. What? What is this
yeah,
shit?
it's
Come
cognitive
on.
dissonance.
Yeah,
It's
the rules
straight
are
up cognitive
for some
dissonance. It's
people,
like,
but not for others. Get out of here.
yeah, like literally, they don't have direct control, but like literally, they can like jam up the process as much as possible using the Robert rules and stuff like that, or
They
using
know
our
what they're
own
doing.
bylaws against us.
They've been playing the game. So if
So
you guys believe in this stuff, right, and you guys want to stop this stuff, you guys got to get in the game and get involved. Otherwise, you're going to allow these party controllers to decide, right? Yeah, how things go, and that's happening in New York too with county committee. Y'all, it's really the you get the government, you get the government you deserve, you get the activists you deserve. You not support us, you're going to get the fakes, and that's on you. You have the clear differences, right? Yeah, this thing is cool, that thing is cool, not cool. You know what I mean? It's
mhm.
stop selectively enforcing the rules. It happens on the left as well as the right. Yeah, y'all are stop it. You know what I mean? It's hypocrisy
And
and
they
it's
still,
discrimination. It's not cool.
yeah, and they still try to give logical reasons why they won't support me and all this stuff like that. But yeah, I went to National Venture and they said if you get your job to support you, we'll help you. I'm not even asking for money. That's the thing. I'm like asking, hey, can you just not like endorse me? Like, can you just endorse me? There's other people looking for our endorsement, but something is hampering up. Somebody said they're gonna send it in today and see what we're gonna do. Early voting starts September 15th. So I don't know.
That's
I
real
don't
soon.
know
Yeah.
what
How many people are in
it's
your
early.
How many people are in your DSA chapter, and how many votes do you need to make that happen?
We have we have 300 members. We have about 12 that's active, and for us to meet the quorum, we need at least 7 people. We need at least seven. At least seven
Well, if
people
you really
to
just go and talk to
be in
the
the meeting.
members one on if you talk to the members one-on-one, you know, I mean, you also got a
Yeah,
lot of press recently when you took on the governor, right? Yeah, I don't know
yeah,
if the other candidates were doing this, right? Yeah, I think
right.
the thing is
No,
that you need to
no,
get a hold of that
no, no,
mail
no.
list and talk to the people, huh?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
You're
I
right.
want to, yeah,
You're right. Ultimately, we have to wait on the committee, and I have to wait on the electoral committee. They said they're gonna do it by today, but I want to go ahead and finish this as fast as possible so we can get started. So I can like let people know, hey, I'm the socialist in this race. No one else is really willing to even come to us because they hate socialism, which is weird and weird. It's hurtful. It makes it hard to want to be I'm the co-chair. It makes it really hard for me to want to continue to be a member of this
yeah.
community. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I
Because
understand to an extent why those
people
people feel that
who are
way. Yeah,
so
go
in
ahead.
line with people who are so in line with respectability politics can't actually support people who have supported them, who have actually helped save that chapter from being dismantled from within. I've literally helped save their chapter. I've done all that I can do to help maintain my local chapter at DSA. Kicked out any predators. I've been I worked like the dog, like literally. I've been a dog,
And
woof
they
woof,
and they,
and
unfortunately, right?
I
Yeah,
still can't get support.
when you work for them for free,
Yeah,
it's kind of funny how people mentally see this, but they devalue you. They take you for granted. If they got to pay a whole bunch of money and if you're in a suit, they think you're worth something. This is an
right.
unfortunate reality.
I'm gonna use that
Um,
quote.
yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
use that
that's
quote.
cool.
I'm gonna use that quote
It's because it's true. You know, it's true
because
when you,
that's the
yeah,
truth.
yeah, it's yeah. So look, you are a pioneer candidate. You're in the city where Tyree Nichols just died. If people are really ready for real
Right. It happened
change,
right down the street from me.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
It happened right down the street from my home.
and people wonder why things
Like
never change.
legit.
It's because people will go out and march and then they feel like they're done. No, okay. How many more dead bodies we got? Freaking from Rodney King to 20 years ago, 30 years ago, right? Till now today, it's still going on. You wonder why it never changes. It's because y'all are not supporting the real ones. Y'all are out there supporting the fakes. Y'all are out there treating us activists like we're just like disposable, and you're not really backing us up because the heart is really not in it. Y'all mean well, but y'all got to step it up a notch and actually, right? Yeah, find the people, the real ones, and stop buying the BS. Yeah, we're out here dealing with a lot of, you know, and you know what? The right wing people. Some of them have experienced this type of hypocrisy that you're facing right now. So I understand why they might feel disillusioned with the word socialism. But once again, socialism can be good or bad. Capitalism can be good or bad. It's about how you implement it. That's why you guys got to look at the real ones. And I'll call Brandy Price right here a real one. Okay. Just because the fakes out there playing games, right? That because the fakes out here playing, right? Yeah, doing hypocritic things, right? Yeah. Look at people that's actually helping people,
Hmm.
like Brandy Price. Once again, I see her on her, and it's not like I just seen her do it recently because she started running, right? She has a long history. I've known her for. Has it been a year yet? Maybe even more than a year. Who knows? Yeah, maybe at least about a
It's
year
more than a
probably now.
year.
Yeah, so she
Yeah.
for the whole time from day one, right? And I even looked at her past, right? Yeah, she's been actually just out there really helping people, like really, really. Her she's out. You might see her doing work. She helps her elderly neighbor, right? Yeah, just on a regular basis, she's an inspiration, and I was supposed
Thank
to go
you.
down at some point, but I just ran out of money right there. It just is what it is, but whatever I could do to help you more, maybe even if I can phone bank a little bit for you, call some people in your community, and maybe if you something that y'all watchers could do too. Even if you're not in Tennessee, you can still help. This right here is actually a pioneer, historically significant, candidate, the first of her kind in Memphis, Tennessee, and also someone who's an honest player, right? I don't care if she's just the first of her kind, right? I mean, that is significant, but she's also someone who's really addressing some real critical issues going on, such as police brutality, such as, you know, poverty, right? Homelessness, stuff like that. I really can't think of a better candidate right now. And we are having our candidate of the We props that once again to Jeff Young, our 2022 candidate of the year. We 2023 candidates of the year. We are still looking for. We're still searching. Brandon Price has a really good shot. She's a top runner, and I talked to more candidates than probably anybody. A lot of candidates shutting me out now because the Democrats have sent out the message here in New York to run away. Republicans too, Ying Tan, where you at? You know what I mean? Lester Chang, where you at? Bernard Chuck came on the channel. Jonathan Rinaldi came on the channel. And Brandy Price is on the channel now, right? Yeah. We're going to try to, there may be a candidate for 23 of the year. I'm talking to so many candidates. Brandy Price is very special. It's just what I'm coming from. And we're going to also be involving her in our ongoing criminal justice reform issues, including our, once again, we have something called civilian review board. There are, cops can have a purpose if there's someone, if you're scared, right, and someone's like, aiming a gun at you, you're like, oh crap, I need to get some help. But cops are here to help us, not to hurt us, unfortunately. And sometimes it turns into the wrong direction. And we need to have civilian review board. We need cops to be accountable. And we're hoping to bring Brandy in for that project because of her excellent work. Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. With subpoena power.
Yeah, with subpoena powers. Exactly. Yeah, I was hoping. Yeah, exactly. See, she knows what she's talking about. I didn't even say it. She knows already. She's in the game. What's up, activists? If you know if you've heard that right there, if you are aware of someone who's aware of the issues going on, okay, at this level, you need to support the real one. I'm just saying that. Yeah, I'm just going to say that right. I'm not going to try to pretend to be impartial here. Okay, we fucking need you. What's up? Yeah, we fucking need you to come up. Brandon Price is not getting support in her own district because the money and the power, right, are disregarding her for whatever reason. Okay, New York DSA. Yeah, look, even though the work that I do is
something. I'm sorry. That's something that
sorry.
That's something we learned from Juicy J and them. Ain't nothing going on, but the money and the power, like literally, man. I'm sorry, I had to throw up that. Yeah, that's 100% true. Ain't nothing going on here but the money and the power. If y'all want to help, please donate. That's all I have to say. Sorry.
Yeah, you recently also gave me a check mark on my one of the my videos on Instagram calling it Hunter College. Now the thing is that I've been a long time advocate for the LGBTQ community. I always considered them to be, I always felt like racial justice was something that was needed to happen. With Obama becoming president, I felt like we achieved certain things, not like that was everything, but it was significant. And I felt like the next fight was the LGBTQ. Now the thing is, when I went back to Hunter College, instead of talking about, I talked about earlier about how trans people face job discrimination, housing discrimination, right? Yeah. And I'm not right. Instead, this guy Jeffrey Parsons, right, a professor from Hunter College, had them talking about gender neutral bathrooms. And I'm not saying like that isn't some dissonance there, but when the fight becomes, instead of talking about true equality, right? Yeah, and it comes about putting a sign on a door, and people want to pat themselves on the back like crazy. Right, by the way, Parsons got busted for for stealing federal money and is causing a federal examination of the whole thing. There's a lot of fake, right? And Parsons making hundreds of $1,000s, some rich ass white dude, and he's the head of the LGBTQ movement. Get the freak out of here, man. You know what I mean? And I was telling those students back in the day, I said, look, guys, you here are over here facing housing discrimination, job discrimination. Those are important, right? Slapping a sign on bathroom. I'm not saying that's completely irrelevant, but why have you guys? Why is this your complete focus now? Like, what is going? Like, stop letting these people.
Oh, it's politics, money and power. It's an easy target for them. Most white people in the gay community, lesbian community, they don't care. They don't care. They do not care. They about the money and the power. Literally, we're about to support somebody who I can't even say his name on here because I would get sued. Is straight up dating underage high school boys. I can't even say his name. Like,
look at Ellen DeGeneres, right? She's partying with George Bush, saying like, "Oh, war criminal." Let's because she's sitting in the same seat with him. Yeah, it doesn't matter what your label is if you're still hanging out with them, right? Yeah, and excluding us.
Yeah.
Then right. I'm not going to exclude you, but if you're excluding us, then you're going to get. We see you for what you are. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right.
So,
I do have to cut this short. So,
hey, basically,
I'm sorry.
we're done.
I do have to cut this short. So.
Yeah, I know you're going to the doctor's office stuff. Hey, so, one love, yeah. And I hope
One
that we
love.
get some real support out here. I will be continuing to
Thank
follow
you.
up, and I know that there's a lot of candidates. By the way, I beg you, okay, a lot of candidates after the campaign's over, they're done. They're not doing nothing for nobody. They just
Right.
talked about it. Yeah, I know Brandy. Whether
Right.
win or lose, she's still gonna be in this because I've seen her. I've seen her how she thinks. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Hey, I'm not right on everything, but we'll see. We'll see. Win or lose, you're still gonna be in this. I guarantee it. Right? Hell
Right.
yeah. There's no stopping
Hey,
this.
hey,
Yeah.
this is my home. This is my home. I ain't
Exactly.
got no choice. But I love the people here. My fam. I'm one of 1,000 great grandbaby that lives in this city. My family here. Legit. So I do have to cut this short, y'all.
One love. Yeah.
If
We basically
anybody,
done. Yeah.
one love, please visit my website. It's just different videos. Brandon Price, the number four mayor.com. You also visit my Facebook account, Brandon Price for Mayor of Memphis on Facebook. Twitter, my had my name at I'm at I hate underscore money. And to donate, please send money to my Act Blue account, Brandon Price for Mayor Act Blue account. I'll send you the link for it.
Cool. I've seen
So
your
I have to
website
let y'all
right
know that.
now. All right.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can share that right quick, and then basically, I guess we're done. I'm sorry. StreamYard is new for me, so I'm not really sure how to share it. Once again, it's Brandon Price, number four mayor.com. Hey, basically that's it. Thanks again for coming on. You're an inspiration.
Cool, man.
Sometimes I feel fun, sometimes I'm feeling bad, and then I'm a little bit of talk with Salamander just helps me know that I'm not the only one out here. You know what I mean? And
Hey, your
God bless
therapy,
you.
your therapy too, man. Your therapy too, man. Like
Thank you.
for real. Literally, we're not alone. We're gonna keep fighting. Like I said, our backs are against the wall right now, but
Hell
it
yeah.
always helps to know that we're not alone in this. And all right, we know for a fact that the system is going to fail. So the people who are against us now, their time for defeat is coming. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. That shit, man. Like, for real. I believe that without a doubt. Because people are waking up to these fucking political cycles, and it's coming. It's coming. So thank you for inviting me.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.